It's a great Thursday today. We want to know why. We got so many things to talk about. We're going to talk about Star Wars. We're going to talk about Kevin Feige in Star Wars. What does it mean? Does it mean the death of Kathleen Kennedy, Danielle Radford? She'll be back with an answer. She will be back with an answer. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Spencer Gilbert is here to give us some hot takes.
Spicy.
Yeah. Dan Murrell is here to keep it real.
I'm doing my best.
Yeah, you're going to keep us grounded and real until... Ladies and gentlemen, we get to the trailer of all trailers, the #1 most anticipated movie of the year. Ladies and gentlemen, Primal. If you have not seen this trailer yet, here is my the deep, passionate imploration. Is that a word?
Sure.
Yeah,
it is now.
To you. Pause this. Come back. We need you. But go watch it and then come back and revel in it with us. But first, let's talk about Kevin that Feige. Rascal. He's going to a Star Wars. He's going to do a Star Wars.
He's doing it.
Did you hear about this?
I heard about that. He's going to a Star Wars, yes.
He's going to a Star Wars. This is to the absolute surprise of no one. No one at all. Like, this has been talked about now, I think, for 3 years, because his contract with Marvel, I believe, ran out. You guys will correct me, but I think it was like this year. But when we started speculating a few years ago that when his contract with Marvel ran out, that he would then jump ship and potentially take on a bigger role or a big role in Star Wars, because he's been a huge Star Wars fan forever. Like, that's his #1 franchise, the thing that he loves the most. And then obviously there's been some struggles with the Star Wars. In the last, and they did not have a success with Han Solo. Solo, they did not. So I think that probably shook up Disney a little bit. They can't afford to have anything that is a flop in these huge franchises. They're a little nervous because the enthusiasm around Star Wars lands in the parks is not as high as they thought it would have been. So in any event, we are seeing the end of the Skywalker trilogy, nonology. What do we call it? Like 9 movies. What is that?
I think it's a nonology.
It's a nonology.
Yeah.
The Skywalker nonology. This December. And so they're looking at what's next. Now, let's be really clear, because I think probably a lot of people are talking about this. Kathleen Kennedy is not leaving. Kathleen Kennedy is still there. She's still very much working with him. I have a real question for us, though. And I didn't warn anyone that I was going to ask this question, but I'm going to ask this real question. Okay. I know. Prepare yourself.
But we script this show in advance so thoroughly, Roth.
I know. Well,
look at every line. This is my script.
Go off track.
We might. I don't know. Joe the other day did give me some guff for never actually using the prompts. I was like, I don't know what I'm gonna say. Is it like, so Kathleen Kennedy is not leaving. Kevin Feige's working on producing a film for Star Wars. Yes. Obviously, he's not a guy that does a one-off. He just doesn't do that. I don't think that's probably what he's gonna do, and I do think it would look very, very bad politically for Disney to let go of Kathleen Kennedy. Yes. And there's a part of me that wonders if she's going to have less actual creative control than she did previously. Danielle Radford, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I'd have to agree with you. It's kind of a bummer because I feel like she has really taken on all of the slack for anything that has happened with these. And obviously, yeah, she's been the one in charge, but I think that she gets a lot of just unnecessary hate about the really fun, War in the Stars movies. And I do unfortunately think that means that they're going to wind up cutting back on her ability to be able to shape it. If nothing else than just in public, Feige is now going to be the face of Star Wars.
So how does he, that's question A, and I agree with you, and it is an unfortunate series of events that all of the blame is at her feet. Lucas picked her, handpicked her to take it on when he sold to Disney. So I don't know what it'll actually mean, but he's also a busy guy who's got to figure out how the X-Men, what are we going to do about Wolverine? Dan.
First of all, I think it sounds like he's excited about doing a movie. A movie, and he's supposedly reached out to somebody, and he wants to produce a Star Wars movie.
Who do you think it is? Who do you think it is?
I don't want to speculate. I don't care. It sounds like he wants to do a Star Wars movie. That's great. Fantastic. He's a great producer. He's shown that he has great creative instincts. Kathleen Kennedy, some people treat her like she's some demon that was summoned from hell to ruin Star Wars and never did anything before this. Where did she come from? She produced some of your favorite movies ever. I know, but this idea of just like this hellspawn Kathleen Kennedy, I'm sorry, that's ridiculous. That's to completely disregard everything she did before.
She was notably born of Satan's asshole, but outside of that, she is a very talented.
It's a good trait in a producer.
I have nothing but respect for Kathleen Kennedy. That's the fact, and you're right. Talk about her career.
I mean, she was with Steven Spielberg producing some of the best movies ever made. Some of the height of Steven Spielberg movies. Not like just sitting on the sidelines, like actively developing and producing these movies for decades. And yes, it has been a bit of a spotty record for Star Wars. But when you think about it, Kathleen Kennedy was doing or was trying to do exactly what Kevin Feige did. I think particularly with The Last Jedi, which was to hire a filmmaker that she believed in and giving him a lot of creative control. Now, in this case, maybe it didn't work out so well. But that's the same strategy that Kevin Feige was doing with Marvel, just that the results are a little different. I do think it was a mistake potentially with what happened with Lord and Miller, with Solo, but this idea that Kathleen Kennedy is just ruining Star Wars, come on, like, it's ridiculous.
I agree.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
I agree.
In my opinion. And now with Kevin Feige, he's like, see, I knew it. I could bring in Kevin Feige to... No. He's coming in to do, it sounds like, because he wants to do a movie. That's great. I would love to see that. And they're throwing Galaxy's Edge at Kathleen Kennedy too. It's like, that's not even, does she even run that department? That's a thing.
Yeah, she don't know how to make a roller coaster.
And by the way, the reason no one's ever going to Galaxy's Edge is because Disneyland and Disney World spent a year telling everybody, don't come to Galaxy's Edge. You're not going to be able to get in. You need a reservation. The lines are going to be outside of the park for 3 hours. You can come to Galaxy's Edge, but you're not going to be able to get in. So guess what? Nobody showed up. That's what happens when you tell people not to go. That's a dumb strategy. I don't think Kathleen Kennedy came into her office every day and was calling the theme parks and like, oh yeah, make sure to tell people how crowded Galaxy's Edge is going to be and not to show up. It's stupid. I hate the...
Good point.
I'm tired.
Spencer, no, I like it. It's true. Look, Kathleen Kennedy has had all of the failures of Star Wars, and they're not failures, by the way. The only one that actually was financially not successful was Solo.
Yes.
They're not failures by any stretch of the imagination. They're just not what Disney was looking for. The parks, I think they're probably relating to the general appetite around Star Wars, which they had thought would be as high as it was for something like Marvel. And they're looking at Kevin Feige, who not every single Marvel movie, by the way, has been a massive, massive success, but many have, and they have been record breakers, particularly this last one. So here's my question for you. Yeah. I think there is something fundamental about Star Wars that doesn't lend itself as well as Marvel to the kind of expansive universe that they're trying to create with all of these different films. There's something that's actually, oddly enough to me, contained about the tone of Star Wars, that people are in rebellion when...
Yeah, for me, I agree. I think that if there's one mistake that, I don't know how much of it is Kathleen Kennedy, how much of it is the Alan Horn or the Bob Iger or whatever, but trying to Fast and Furious-ize Star Wars or annualize Star Wars movies. I think that the movies are so... sanctified, whatever the word is when you make something a saint, where it's like, oh, you can't touch these. Like, if you make a Star Wars movie, you better have a damn good reason. There better be 3 of them, and there better be like a 10-year worth of build-up hype in between.
Yeah.
So turning it into like, oh, what's this year's Star Wars? Huge mistake, I think. And I think they've realized that, and they've canned all the planned feature films around that.
That I'll agree with.
Yeah, I do think it can support TV, video games, comics, because it always has.
Well, it's an expansive view, and that's what I'm saying. What's interesting about it, for a universe that has as much depth and history and expanded imagination around it as Star Wars does, in the canon and not, when it comes to the movies, and I think this is what we saw with the movie that shall not be named, The Jedi Who Shall Not Be Named, is that people say they want something fresh and new, right? When The Force Awakens came out, they were like, this is just a retread, blah, 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 give us something new. Great, here's something totally new in some respects, and that does not stick to form, and I feel like the fan base then was in rebellion against that. So there's something very delicate about how to make the right Star Wars movie.
But I also think we won't know, because from Disney's perspective, It's all about that money. We won't know until we see
Those receipts.
because I think that every second Star Wars movie does worse than the first Star Wars. Like Attack of the Clones did worse than Phantom Menace, and Empire did worse than Star Wars.
Which is a
So Last Jedi did worse than whatever the
Force
New
Awakens.
Hope, New Hope 2.
If you look at the drop off, it's almost identical to the amount that Empire Strikes Back by just like a fractional. It's almost identical to the amount that Empire Strikes Back dropped off from Star Wars.
Right. So we'll see if on top of that a mixed critical fan reception affects the third one. I don't think they can know if it's in trouble because it's going exactly as all the other trilogies have gone so far.
And then the question then becomes, and this is where Kevin Feige comes in, and like I said, this is no surprise to anybody that's followed his career because he's such a big Star Wars fan. Right. And he's like clearly been enthused to be a part of it for a really, really long time. Maybe it is just one movie that he's producing. That would be great. I will go see it. But I have to imagine they're thinking bigger picture than that. They're not thinking like, what's the next one Star Wars movie that we can make? They're thinking, what are we going to do with Star Wars when the Skywalkers are no longer thing? Also, who do you think the actor is, Spencer?
Right. So he's got a movie in mind for a particular star actor.
I don't know. Maybe it's an actress. We don't know.
Or actress, yeah. We don't know who. Robert Downey Jr. springs to mind. Tom Holland springs to mind. Because like these are all
Shut him up.
we're all moving towards one large cinematic paste that's been chewed up by the same 2 or 3 people and then excreted into our eyeballs. So this is just another step towards that.
Branding by Spencer. Danielle, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. If I may say though, what's so wrong with? I mean, there's nothing. I know. What's so wrong with the strategy of this focusing on what's the next one Star Wars movie we should make? That's how it should work.
There's nothing wrong with that, but do you really think that's what's happening?
It's not how it does work, but that's how it should work.
I'm not saying what they should do. I'm saying what I believe they are doing.
Oh yeah,
and I don't think that you invest that kind of money into. There's the Mandalorian coming out, the theme parks, and all of that. If you're thinking one movie at a time, I just don't think they are.
They should be though.
But Danielle,
Keanu Reeves.
Oh,
there have been reports of
I just want
Marvel
that to be
and
like
DC
just
going after
broadly.
him.
Yeah. That's just what I think about anything. Ask me anything. What kind of coffee you like? Keanu Reeves. It's just my blanket answer. I mean, it's. But like I agree with Dan. I like the idea of let's make one thing and let's make it really good. But that's no longer the way that we make, or anyone really is approaching the movie making process. And also, it's just. I think it's a struggle when you have a fan base where we all know exactly what our perfect Star Wars movie would be, and how dare you do anything other than what's in my headcanon.
What's in your headcanon?
My headcanon?
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah, very good. Yeah.
one last thing.
Yes.
If I see one more dumb thumbnail with Kathleen Kennedy wearing that Forces Female shirt, I'm gonna throw my computer out
What's
the window.
our thumbnail today, Ryan?
It's not that anymore.
Was it?
No.
Okay. No, because every negative Kathleen Kennedy video I see has her wearing that Forces Female shirt. That doesn't say the Force is only female. It says the Force is female. It's male too, you troglodytes. Jesus. It's both.
Well, the Force
my God.
is technically genderless, isn't it?
It's balance, right?
The Force, as we learned yesterday, the Force is...
It's a spectrum, Dan.
The Force are wills that are inside midi-chlorians,
Yes.
and that's apparently the movies that everybody wanted. But I'm just so sick of it's that stupid space movie with swords, and just stop making it a cottage industry of shame and hatred and misery. It's Star Wars.
Have you been on? We were having this discussion. We're not going to talk about the Joker today, except for right now.
Yeah.
Which is, we were having this discussion. We're going to get into this more tomorrow. They will get into this. I'll just leave it here and then make them deal with it tomorrow. We were talking about Todd Phillips, and it's just like, when you hear him talk about that character and the fan base, it's just so clear, like, you've never been on internet, and like, you do not understand the character that you made a movie. Not that the Joker's a bad movie. We reviewed it well, actually. But it's really interesting. Like, everything is a cottage industry of shame and hatred. Like, like, that's the world we're seemingly in at the moment. Whereas it's Star Wars and the Force, like, that's she, like, that's saying, like, to me, I don't believe in it. I choose to ignore midichlorians. Like, that's like saying literally she is female or male. It's neither. It's both.
Just, it's so.
Can we talk about she a little bit? Because you brought up Keanu.
I did bring up Keanu.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
Chi is wonderful.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. In any event, the Force is female. Keanu Reeves. What else, Spencer? What did we decide? Oh, what is the Force? We're actually going to be able to answer that with science.
Yes.
Ooh. Yeah, that was a segue. Thank you.
Nice.
We are working on a series. I don't know if you guys saw this. There was a thing called Power Levels where we compared dragon strengths. Well, we went back to the pot, and Spencer Gilbert poured some more.
We've been back to the pot.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's legal in California, y'all.
What if it was like Magneto versus like fire?
Yeah. See, those are the ideas. This is the brainstorm. This is how we do it.
Not far off.
And we made a scientist study really dumb stuff. Would you like to talk about that?
Sure, yeah, we made a bunch more because people
Yeah.
seem to like them, like the first one.
Yeah.
So I don't know the exact schedule of or when we can announce they'll be dropping.
The first one is next Thursday.
The first one's next Thursday, that's for sure. And if we can talk about what that might be.
We can. It's Batman.
We made scientists empirically and in a data-driven fashion determine who the best Batman is.
That won't generate any
That won't
conversation.
generate any controversy at all. But it's just science, you know. We're washing our hands of it. It's all the numbers bear out who the greatest on-screen Batman is, and we got some really cool animations, some really cool footage. Roxy's VO. It's awesome.
Yeah.
What's not to love?
Nothing. It's great. It's going to be really fun. Next week is Batman v Batman v Batman,
Yes.
which will not be the title of the video. It'll be on the Screen Junkies channel. On Thursday at 10 a.m. There will be I think we have some teasers or images or something that are coming out over the next week, so we'll show you a little bit of it.
Looks
and
really
then
cool.
It looks so good.
these guys saw it.
Yeah.
It looks
really cool.
really, really good.
We're excited for that. That's going to be happening. And then we will be at Comic-Con that Saturday. So big week for us next week. We'll be at Comic-Con next Saturday night, debuting our Galaxy Quest documentary and showing you a never-before-seen honest trailer. It's going to be great. You should come. There's more information about that in the description below. Look out for Power Levels, though, next week. So that's going to be the first one. And then it comes out roughly every couple of weeks after that through the end of December. The final one is maybe I don't know.
We'll
My
see.
favorites go back and forth.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, they're still working on one of them, so we
Yeah.
don't even know.
We don't know if the
might
science
be-
is going to work.
Yeah.
We're not sure. We're not sure if the science is going to work. But we'll talk to you guys a little bit about the times when the science didn't work, which has also been kind of interesting.
In its own way.
And in its own way, yeah. More to come on that. But for now, I'm going to read the exact call out. This is what Ryan wrote. Call out, like and subscribe. Great stuff on fandom.com. All caps, fandom.com! Honest Trailers commentary for Detective Pikachu came out yesterday. I saw you try and fix that. Alicia Day will be here on SJU tomorrow. All caps, Galaxy Quest, baby! Hit that link, hit that link, hit that link. Get ready for more info on what you do and when you can see it. What you do.
What to do.
What to do. If you don't know what you do, ask us. We will not have an answer. Okay, so do all of those things. And again, we will be at Comic-Con next Saturday. And as we were talking about last week, one of the great things about being at the cons and stuff is meeting people face to face. That's always really nice. I mean, we're kind of joking about like a cottage industry of hate and shame. It can feel that way. But then you meet people in person and you realize how warm
Say
and
that to my
awesome.
face, not online. Cowards.
No, actually meeting actual people, it's like
It gives you a different-
detoxifying
yes,
bath.
it's
It's
very
wonderful to meet
cleansing.
actual people,
Yeah.
faces and names,
And they're-
people that are wonderful.
They're always nice and
Yes.
warm. They please continue that nice and warm and charming and lovely. And so that's been great. And one of the groups of people that we were able to meet were working with their organization for this month for Suicide Awareness and Prevention Month. Dan, do you want to talk about that a little bit with Stack Up?
Yeah, Stack Up. We've been talking about it. You've heard us talking about it throughout the month. They bring veterans and civilians together through a love of video gaming. And we have talked to you so many times in our own words about what Stack Up does and their great work. But Dave Krause, who we met a few times at Comic-Con, he's their director of Veteran Services, and he sent us a video so that he could actually talk in his own words about what Stack Up does. So let's throw it to Dave, and he can tell you more about Stack Up.
Hey everybody, I'm Dave Krause, the Director of Veteran Services for Stack Up. Throughout the month of September, the Screen Junkies have talked a little bit about our programs and shared some of their experiences working with us at events like San Diego Comic-Con. Now, because September is focused on mental health, they wanted to give me a couple minutes to speak with you directly about our Overwatch program. Now, Stack Up's Overwatch program provides 24/7 peer-to-peer support and crisis intervention to anybody over the age of 18 in need. Now, while most of our programs focus on active duty and veteran service members, we simply felt that this issue was too important to even take the chance of turning somebody away based on military service. So anybody is free to join our Discord server at discord.gg/stackup.org. They can drop a line into our dedicated Overwatch program channel and within minutes get connected with one of our volunteers who are trained and certified to provide peer-to-peer support. Now, these conversations will typically start in that open channel and then very quickly be moved into a private conversation, either through a private voice channel or direct messages, whichever is more comfortable for you guys. At the end of the day, our primary mission here is just to let people know that, we want to be a resource for folks in need. Stack Up's programs have always been based on mental health because we believe that gaming saves lives. And while most of our programs were focused on organic mental health through community and just engaging with folks, we realized that there was really a need for a more direct approach, something that really just kind of shouted from the rooftops like, hey, if you're struggling and you need somebody to talk to, we're here, we care about you, and we're ready, willing, and able to listen and just kind of help you work through some stuff. And what's really been the most fascinating thing for me to see is that we do have folks that will first meet us looking for support and then go on to get trained up themselves so they can provide support to others, which we think is just the coolest thing in the world. So if you'd like to get connected with Stack Up, maybe learn more about what it is that we do, if you want to come reach out to us directly, we're all there. We pride ourselves on transparency in everything that we do. So anybody, we encourage you and welcome you to come be a part of our community. And absolutely, if you're feeling like you just need somebody to talk to, please reach out. You're not alone, and we care about you. Thank you so much for your support over this last month. Thank you to the Screen Junkies crew and to all you fans out there who are taking a moment of your time to watch this message. We appreciate you, we love you, and we hope you have a great day. Thanks.
Thank you guys for taking the time to do that. Joe Starr's not here, but he's actually been working really hard with Stack Up, so I want to thank him for that. And we will be highlighting other organizations in the months to come, so please do support if you can. There's more information in the description below. And as always, you guys are amazing. Let's talk about, apparently they were telling me what I missed on the show, and it's a lot. Apparently, Dan, I think you married an oven mitt.
I profess my devotion, given 3 choices, to marrying the Arby's oven mitt.
Yeah.
Which apparently can get us demonetized.
And we were also talking about how we can't curse anymore, so I'll try. Jason Bateman and Ryan Reynolds in Clue. This is via Variety, and it's very exciting. Is it? I don't know, because Clue. Do you guys love Clue?
I love it.
I love it.
The
Okay,
movie's so
it's
good.
so good. It's a great movie, and it's being remade. So I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this. Jason Bateman is in early negotiations to direct and star Ryan Reynolds in Clue, and I have to assume that Ryan Reynolds would be playing the do you think it would be a direct remake of the movie or a different take on the game?
I don't know, because it's reading like it's a different take on the, I don't think it's going to be related in any way to the previous movie, except for obviously using the names of the characters.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like they're saying it's based off of the game and not based off the previous movie, which I think is the absolute right way to go.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, there was a movie called Clue. When did Clue come out? It was in
1980. I'm gonna guess 6.
85.
Really?
85?
It's on the paper.
Oh, it's on the paper. 1985.
1985, the paper that I apparently didn't want to look at. 1985, this is such a fun movie. This is one of the only movies that is based on a game in history that has worked. Is it the only one that's based on a game that's actually worked?
Jumanji's not real.
Jumanji's not a real game.
Well, it is now.
Yeah.
but Clue was a game, and then they made a movie based on
Battleship
it.
didn't work.
Yeah.
Poor Rihanna.
This is
Shoots and Ladders was a real disaster.
Yeah.
Risk was had potential, but no. Sorry was just bad. Uno.
There's an Uno movie?
No, none of those are real. I was waiting for somebody to push back or say something.
I was waiting for your pitch for Uno.
To a silent room.
Ouija is a movie, though.
Ouija is a movie.
yes.
The
Yes.
second one's better.
There you go. There's another one besides Clue, but Clue is great.
Diving Bell and the Butterfly is based on a Don't Wake Daddy.
Yes. Yeah. Notably. Good God, Lemon. What am I doing? Jason Bateman making Clue. So that original movie was great. It's not going to be based on that movie. You should watch that movie, though, because it is great, as I just mentioned a number of times. But I do wonder this. They must have some great take on Clue in order to do this again. Like, why specifically Clue? I mean, it's
Fox had
it's
the IP,
inherently cool.
and they're like, oh, we'll take pitches on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And Jason Bateman
Make the
had one.
movie.
But he basically did something that was really similar to that with Game Night.
Yes.
You know?
He made Game Night?
Yeah. Well, he
Okay.
was in Game Night.
He was in Game Night,
okay.
which is amazing.
And which was great. And so I'm just like, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about this. I don't think you can recapture that lightning in a bottle of that depiction of the game, but it's a game that also lends itself to a variety of different experiences and stories because it's a murder mystery.
I hope they keep the multiple endings in and you kind of randomly assign depending on which theater you go to.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, and they don't do some dumb Bandersnatch thing where like you vote who lives and who dies, but actually like that was the original one. There were 4 different endings.
Yeah.
Yep. And I don't know if you could see all 4 in one theater or if they sent different prints to different locations.
As I read that it would list in the paper. Like you would look at the time
Explain
and it
to
would
them
say
what a
like
paper is.
ending A, ending B. So
Wow.
different times
wow.
you could go and you would see a different ending. It was actually quite ingenious because it would get people to go see the movie more than once, which
Yeah.
I don't think they did. But it's an interesting idea. But,
Yeah.
but now you just see them all at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
When you-
They play out like it plays the one standard ending and then they play all the multiple ones.
What about this way?
Yeah.
But this is the real
But this is really how it happened. Oh, it's so good. And it's
Yeah.
got such a great cast. It's Tim Curry, you guys.
Yeah, I'm torn because I love that Clue movie,
Yeah.
and I would hate to see just a cheap knockoff just to cash in on IP. But I also love a good ensemble murder mystery.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Knives Out.
Oh, so looking forward to that.
From Ruin Johnson. And, I love Gosford Park. I enjoyed Murder on the Orient Express. I love that kind of movie.
Yeah.
And so it's also like, well, I don't know. It could be fun. So,
I mean,
I'm
Jason
torn.
Bateman's talented.
won an
And
Emmy.
yes,
directing.
for directing. And Ryan Reynolds is obviously Deadpool.
A delight.
And a pure delight on top of it. So I don't know. Like I said, mixed feelings, but where are you?
Yeah, mixed. I agree with Danielle. I think that to do this, they must have a far different take than
Yeah.
a remake of the 80s film.
What's your take? Hot takes?
My hot takes on
Yeah.
this? I don't have one. Just be funny.
Was looking for Keanu.
Oh,
Killers.
Yeah.
as Miss Scarlet.
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Well,
What if it's Detective Pikachu 2?
Whoa.
Detective Pikachu 2.
All right.
yeah. Explain to
Detective
Ryan what
Pika-Clue.
a paper is.
See, Ryan, it used to be when you wanted to find a movie time, you would have to go and buy a physical
physical
paper that had, in
newspaper.
addition to movie times, it also had the news of the day in it.
It was a printout of the internet.
Yeah,
it was
a
like an
printout that
internet,
they
yeah.
left on your door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like on your tablet?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like on your tablet.
On your tablet.
And
Your stone tablet.
but a paper form of your tablet, and then you would go in there, and then they were usually wrong.
You'd
Yeah.
swipe
Yep.
right until you found what you wanted to
Yeah.
see.
Okay.
Yeah. Turning the page is the original swiping.
And that's been This Minute in Olds.
Yes.
Nicolas Cage, you guys. Oh, man. This is the greatest thing. This is I'm going to call it to another YouTube channel because that's how much I want you to see this. This is on IGN's YouTube channel because screw them. We should have had this. This has Screen Junkies written all over it,
Really
people.
good.
Yeah.
This is a trailer that begins with the phrase, "Back off my cat," or something to that effect. And then it goes from there. This is the single greatest trailer of all time. This movie comes out.
scale
Stop it.
back.
This movie comes out on November 8th, 2019. Everything I needed to happen in that trailer absolutely did.
Yep.
The man loves his cat.
Yeah, there's an extra complication though that I didn't appreciate, which is that there's some sort of international super killer
Yeah.
on the boat with
Yeah.
them. I just need Nick Cage versus Cat.
It's not versus cat, it's with cat.
Well, see, but that's my thing too. Is like the first part of this trailer, the first 30 seconds, he's like, "I captured a wild game." He's like, "I'm gonna sell to the highest bidder," and I'm like, "Oh, he's the villain."
Yeah, I think.
And
it's-
then no, he's like the hero, but it's like, but you still captured wild animals, and you're gonna sell them to God knows who, and you're like,
Right,
I
his
was ready
arc-
for it to be Cage v.
Yeah.
he needs to be the
cat.
hunter that learns to respect his
We
prey.
haven't seen the movie.
We've seen the movie.
But I agree. The complication of the international killer, I was like, oh wait, so it's not like I wanted Cage versus a boat full of animals.
yeah.
Yep.
You're gonna get you guys have no imagination. Stretch. You're getting Cage with a boat full of animals.
Yeah.
Attacking an international super serum. Man.
I want him to be battling them.
No.
Yes.
Battling with them. Get that cat to attack. And if you attack him, you attack his cat. If you attack the cat, you attack him. That's the bond of man and animal, of nature and man. This is
But he
man
stole
and nature at once versus other man.
Well,
He
the
stole
problem
the
is
cat, though.
and different nature.
Didn't he just knock that cat
He
out
did.
of a tree
Yeah.
at the beginning
and
of the trailer?
then
That's
he
not
said-
very
He explicitly
nice.
says, "I'm going to sell this to the highest bidder."
I'm not
he's
arguing.
not a good man.
There's going to be an arc in which he understands
See,
to
look.
respect
Roth, don't
the power and
mean.
ferocity of the cat, and the cat and him are going to bond, and then he's going to bring the cat back to the wilderness, and he's going to live there.
I like the movie that's in your head,
Yeah.
but I think that it's already being made. It is not this film, but there is a Nicolas
Yep.
Cage movie being developed,
that's true.
if not
Yep.
already in production, about Nicolas Cage. They steal his pig, Roth. Somebody
dare
steals.
you.
He's in God, where is he?
Oregon.
Oregon. Yeah, it's Pacific Northwest, and he's a truffle hunter. And you know
Sure.
he's got a truffle hunting pig.
Yeah.
Who sniffs out those little truffles.
Yeah.
Somebody kidnaps his prize pig.
Oh.
And he makes it down to the city on a one-man revenge spree
Yeah.
to get his pig back. They've taken his bacon.
Okay.
It is. I don't know if this is
That's
Ryan will have
gotta
to look
be.
up if this is in production or if it's just being developed.
Pig, I believe, just started filming
in
it.
production.
Or just get me the title of that. But that is another film of Nick Cage and his animal friend.
No, Pig is the name.
Yeah.
Yeah, pig is
Pig is the
Pig is
name.
the name
Just
of it.
called
If
Pig.
they've taken his bacon is not the tagline for
Yeah,
that movie.
they
Someone needs to be
have failed.
fired.
That's the one thing I know about it, is that it is named.
Your branding is on point today, man. I gotta say it. Let me just ask us this question: how many Nick Cage, John Wick ripoffs of different animals can we make as a society?
One a year?
Does not
Well,
exist.
there's Joker.
Yes. There's the rise of the Skywalker.
Yeah.
I cannot be more excited. I think you guys are right. I have faith that he's going to have an awakening. He's going to understand and learn to respect the cat.
Yeah.
For all of the obvious reasons, and he's going to bring the cat back to its natural habitat, and he himself is going to unleash his own wild nature.
I hope so. I feel like if that is the case, then this is just poor marketing, because it really did make him look like the bad guy in the first 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So that's you don't want to do that. You don't want to make your hero look like the villain in the first 30 seconds of a trailer and then introduce the real villain.
I will agree, it was a little confusing for me too, because he said, "Back off my cat," which I appreciated.
Right.
Yes.
It's 'cause he wants
And then
money.
later he said he was going to sell his cat.
Yes.
And then I didn't appreciate that.
Yeah, like if
100
he were
pounds of
like
whack
a
jag.
if he were like an animal expert who was like transporting kind of like Life of
for
Pi,
science.
transporting animals like to
Yeah.
a new wildlife habitat, and
Yeah.
was just like, "Hey, back off! He's going to a new home.
Yeah.
I love that cat.
Yeah.
I delivered him."
Yeah.
I think he
Great.
did actually just read Life of Pi, and this is his adaptation.
Yeah.
Also very possible.
Wait, did he actually have something to do with the production, or is he just starring in it?
I don't think he
Okay.
knows.
And I believe he has to do with the production of
Famke
Pig.
Janssen's in this movie too, which is
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
all right. You guys
It's 11.
don't listen to them. Go watch the trailer for Primal and watch it be everything you need it to be. A man and his cat rejoicing together in The Masked Singer. Woo! I know we're going to lose 90% of you now, but for the 10% that are going to stay, you're our people. And we love you. Okay, so The Masked Singer premiered last night.
Yes.
2-hour premiere. Was it too much? Was it not enough? We have a lot to talk about in terms of Egg and Ninja. who was ice cream.
Ice cream.
As it were. And then we also have some guesses about the other as yet to be revealed characters. We're trying to stay away from spoilers this season as much as we can. But the first thing that I'm going to say, Spencer, is that Skeleton is definitely this year's Peacock.
How
What does
so?
that mean?
You know who it is?
What does that mean to you?
You know who it is the whole time. Like last year, Peacock, everybody guessed who it was in the first episode. It was Donny Osmond. Everybody guessed it. And then the whole time, it just became more and more clear that it was Donny Osmond. And then eventually, it was Donny Osmond.
Well, it was down to 2, I think. I think it could be one of 2 people.
Dana Carvey.
or Martin
Short.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
But that's what I'm saying. He's
No.
this year's Peacock.
I think I know exactly who it is, and it's neither of those people.
Oh, okay.
Really?
He talked about playing second fiddle.
Yeah.
Okay.
I watched The Late Show for too many years, and I watched too many Blues Brothers concerts and old SNL to not recognize Paul Schaefer's voice. And I'm telling you right now.
Oh, shit.
I'm telling you right now. I will put.
Paul Schaefer.
I'm putting money in
Yeah.
the bank that it's Paul Schaefer.
Yeah.
Paul Schaefer.
Right.
I would put money in the bank that it's Paul Schaefer. Now, I was saying earlier, there's 2 things I'm not doing this season. I'm not going online anywhere to read speculation like on Twitter or anything because it just wasn't fun for me last year because people were too good.
Yeah.
So I'm not reading any of this. So I'm sure there's somebody online that's already said it's Paul Schaefer, but this is my own detective work. And I'm fast forwarding through the judges. There's way too much judges still. Way too much.
Yeah.
I don't care who they think it is. Plus, they spoil it, and I don't want it spoiled
This
for me.
show doesn't have to be 2 hours long.
No,
It doesn't. It's
no,
too much.
way
I
too
agree.
many
1
judges.
hour. 1 hour.
Type 1.
Way too much with the judges. So we're
Yeah.
also fast forwarding through judge speculation.
Yeah.
So I don't know who the judges have guessed that it is either. But I would bet some amount of money that that's Paul Schaefer in that skeleton costume. It's the voice.
Yeah.
He has
That's
a timbre.
interesting.
Because he
in
didn't
his
sound like
voice.
Martin Short or Dana Carvey, but like the clues were all leading me there.
He can sing. He is a musician. Like I've seen those Blues Brothers albums, and he used to do stuff on SNL. Like
Yeah.
he has that kind of ability, and I think I've cracked skeleton in that.
Yeah.
it is Paul
If
Schaefer.
Skeleton is Paul Schaefer, then he is not this year's Peacock. He's this year's. Who was the big twist last year? No one. No one. Are you guys watching the judges? 2 hours, I think, is too much. That's my first.
I'm watching the
Yeah.
judges. I'm watching Nick Cannon work through his divorce.
Yeah.
He's really going through something on camera in front of all of us. He bought $4 million shoes.
Yeah.
He's struggling.
He's having a moment.
That said, I'm also staying away from like online speculation and like articles and other spoilers. I couldn't help but see. I'm an NBA fan, and I saw a particular basketball player's name trending during like the East Coast run of the show, and I was like, oh, did this guy get traded or something? So I clicked on that, and it's
yeah.
like, oh, that's who blank is. So I don't know if we want to.
Thingamajig.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Thingamajig is 200 feet tall. He's obviously,
Yeah.
they're like, I don't know, maybe he's in sports.
Right.
Maybe. Yeah.
But I do have my NBA knowledge has led me to believe that I have cracked who Tree is.
Okay.
Oh.
You think you know who Tree is?
I think I know who
Okay.
Tree is.
What does your NBA knowledge have to do with Tree?
I think I noticed a massive misdirect going on in Tree because she keeps saying season.
Yeah.
Season. They only talk about me like once a
Once a
season.
year, yeah.
Once a year. And everyone thought, oh, Christmas. This must be a Christmas star or something
Yeah.
like that. But the Tree was being put away in a garage with the number 30 on it.
Yes,
did
I
notice
wrote
that.
that down. 30. Yes.
30.
Do you have a notebook of clues?
I keep notes. Yeah, mine are on my laptop.
I do. I've written them down. I have Lady. I have Rottweiler.
I have even more notes on my computer. So she's being put away for the season,
Yeah.
like shadowed behind the number 30.
Okay.
Also is into cooking or baking or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Sweets.
This is the wife of NBA superstar Steph Curry, Aisha Curry, who has her
That's
own
what I
cooking
thought.
show and can sing.
Oh wow.
Is that what you thought?
That's what I thought. I
too?
thought it was Aisha.
Interesting.
People love her, except for when she's. Sometimes she ges a little respectability politicsy, and that makes people cranky. But whatever, she cooks.
Yeah.
She's nice. She's a nice. She's a nice cooking lady. Who cares?
Yeah.
Yeah, who's overshadowed seasonally by her NBA superstar
I don't know what
husband.
respectability politics are. Is that, I don't know what that
That's a
means.
whole. That's a whole discussion.
That's a
Danielle
different show.
teaches me about internets. Can you teach me about this internet later?
Yes, I can teach you this internet later.
Thank you.
Can we talk about Egg?
Yes.
Yes.
AKA
We
Johnny
should talk
Weir?
about Johnny Weir.
First of all, that
Always.
Egg versus Skeleton SmackDown was a sham. Skeleton had no business winning.
You
Really?
think so?
Egg was
Really?
so much better. For Johnny Weir, for Egg to be
thought it was
voted
a
off
wash.
first was a travesty.
I don't know. I
travesty.
thought it was pretty even. I thought it was pretty even between Skeleton and Egg.
Skeleton had like the charisma was there, but if this is supposed to be a singing competition, which it is, Egg had a clearly superior voice, and I think people are really going to be regret not having more Egg, because Johnny Weir's got a good voice.
Johnny Weir's,
he can
first of
move.
all, respect to Johnny Weir, period. Like, I know you weren't watching the judges, but Jenny McCarthy did call that pretty quickly, Johnny Weir. So I was actually impressed, because the pyramid clue was what gave it away, that he was on the top of the pyramid.
What? Yeah, I didn't get. Why does that give that away?
In ice skating. So when you win your gold medal in ice skating, there's like, it's tiered.
Pyramid seems very hard to stand
No,
on top of, especially in ice skating.
It's not a pyramid, but it's like there's like tiered.
pedestal.
It's like a
pedestal.
pedestal, but the pedestal for bronze, silver, and gold is tiered, and so it looks like you're standing on top of a pyramid.
Right.
Do you not watch figure skating?
Mara
Spencer
actually
Gilbert?
figured that.
Like, that was immediately what told me it was a figure skater.
She figured that out based on that. She was like, "Oh, like the Olympics." She's like, "I bet it's Johnny Weir."
Yeah, and plus
sure enough,
he moves like a figure skater.
yeah, he was very graceful. I thought it was Jonathan Van Ness.
Right.
Because the way that, like, first of all, he's very tall, and then the way, like, the physicality of it, and I think it's also because Jonathan Van Ness is a very physical person, although the clues didn't really support that. But I thought, like, just the way that, like, the grab, you know, like, he's just a very, like, tactile person, like, when you watch Queer Eye. So I was like, oh, is that Jonathan Van Ness? But yeah, Johnny Weir made sense.
Yeah, he's great, and you should watch figure skating, Sportsman.
Once every 4 years.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
My favorite Canadian team quit, so I'm done now.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
They have teams in figure skating?
Well, they do if it's team figure skating. What's wrong with you?
I do think that Ninja was set up to fail, because
yeah.
Ladybug and Rottweiler
Yeah.
were both great, and so to guarantee that a great competitor goes into the SmackDown at the end, and then knowing that Ice Cream, it was between Ice Cream and Tree, there was no competition. So I think they rigged that. Maybe
That's on
Ninja
purpose. They say, like,
wasn't
oh, I only have a
around.
week free or 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Like,
So-
don't keep me here for months.
Right.
Yeah, like
Ninja's got video games to play.
I got Fortnite.
he makes what, like 100,000 a day or something crazy like that, because he plays about 18 hours a day, 20 hours a day.
Do you
losing
think?
money.
Do you think they got Ninja for? Oh my God! If you could only hear the racket of construction that's going on all around us. Do you think they got Ninja to try and get the Utes, like the internets?
Oh, yeah.
Danielle,
Oh, yeah,
or-
yeah.
There's-
My mom does not care who Ninja is.
No, they got him because he could sing and dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a very talented song and dance man.
Yes. I had to explain to my man who Ninja was. He had no idea.
I do wish that I could see, like, I wish that someone had chosen the first airing, like aliens had chosen the first airing of the show to visit Earth and had, like, tuned into the broadcast.
We would immediately be annihilated.
And the first glimpse of humanity they see is an ice cream cone seeing Old Town Road. They're like, what
Poorly.
is this? Poorly? What is this called?
Turn around.
Back it up.
Annihilate button.
Shut it down, shut it down, shut it down. Yeah, Joe Starr, who I had suspected does not enjoy The Masked Singer as much as the four of us do. Yeah, we're four. He was like, no, I like it. It's just like if Tim and Eric were in charge of like a variety show in hell. That's like, it's, you know.
I'm going to talk about Joe. Doesn't he watch, like, Japanese reality show?
Yes, he
on
does.
Netflix?
Big Terrace House.
Big Terrace House, yeah.
I when he tells me about Terrace House, my eyes glaze over the same way that his do when we talk about the Masked Singer.
It's
So
not
I
for
guess it's
him.
to each his own.
Yeah, he doesn't like all of the weird quirks about the show. Like when they're cutting to reaction shots of the judges that are clearly not of that moment, are like it's so weird. It's like my favorite part of the show when they're like, it's dancing, and they're like, we're talking about physics.
The judges are so useless, and they're terrible. And Jenny McCarthy she did a little prep work for this season because she doesn't even look the same as she did last season.
Refreshed.
Plus,
She's been refreshed.
It's Jenny 2.0. But also,
4.0.
like, why is Jenny McCarthy? Why are any? It should just be Ken Jeong. Ken Jeong should just be on this show because he's the only one who gets it.
But he's always wrong.
They should always be wrong. That's the fun. I don't watch the show to see them figure out who it is. I watch
a
the
good point.
show for me to figure out who it is and then watch them take the mask off. out. I don't care. I don't want Robin Thicke to figure it out. There's no Schadenfreude, or not Schadenfreude. It's probably the wrong word, but there's no satisfaction I get by seeing anti-vaxxer Jenny McCarthy figure out who's underneath the mask. I don't want her to figure it out for so many reasons.
She's actually one of the better ones.
Yeah, I know, and that's what makes me angry. I don't want to see Jenny McCarthy correctly guess who's beneath the mask.
Pussycat Doll #1 is like useless.
She's useless. Can't stand it. But it's the weirdest. I don't disagree, but it's the weirdest thing to me when I'm like, why do you know all this, Jenny
the issue
McCarthy?
for me is,
why do you know who Pootie Pie is?
Why are they judges? They're not adjudicating anything. No, they're just guessing. They're one of us because they don't judge. They don't say you go on and you stay. The audience does that.
That's true. Why are we calling them judges?
Why are they the judges? They're useless. They're completely superfluous to the show. They're completely. All they do is suck up time and make the show 2 hours long. Although Mara did point out something hilarious, which is that every time, particularly when it's the first time anyone's seeing, Robin Thicke always thinks it's a model. Like,
I said that too. I said that too.
I think it's a model.
Oh my God, Mara! If you are watching this, I said the exact same thing to Caleb because it's so annoying. Because he just wants to list all the models he's had sex with, and it's so annoying.
I showed him
Every
a
single
video of
time.
them. It's a model.
Like Aretha Franklin could walk out and he'd be like, "Well, anyway, I've had sex with these 7 models." Like that. Why are you talking about models all the time, Robin Thicke?
Well, I know models, and that has the lithe grace and rockin' bod of several models that I've been with in
Allow me
various
to
music
list
videos.
them now. It's so annoying. It's like, have you ever had a gentleman just say to you, apropos of nothing, "Well, my girlfriend's a model"? Has that sentence ever been said to you?
Yeah, I live in LA.
Yeah. That's Robin Thicke. Robin Thicke is that sentence in a human. And he's also taking it very, very seriously, which I sort of appreciate his energy.
Well, he's a trained
around
singer,
it.
which is my favorite take shot every time you hear
Every time.
trained singer.
Not a trained singer. Not a trained singer.
I know what a voice should sound like, and
like,
that's the voice of a really hot model. That's had singing lessons.
Yes, Mara. Totally. So annoying. Spencer, on the judges?
Yeah, I think we've said all our piece. I think I know who Butterfly is, and it's someone that I've actually never heard of, but I was just doing some
Light Googling?
hard Googling. Not light. Hard Googling.
Yeah.
And I think it's a British singer named Leona Lewis.
She won
X Factor.
X Factor, and Simon Cowell fell in love with her immediately.
Yeah. And she became recently a model, but she's done with that and back to singing.
The model that had singing lessons?
Yeah. And they had like shots of her being photographed, and she was did some acting and stuff like that. And she's like, I spent a year away, but now I'm back. And it's like, okay, all right.
Oh my
and from
God.
London, and
She has a great voice.
I think she checks off the boxes for me.
Interesting.
All right.
There's some other theories that I've heard around her.
Okay.
Specifically. And okay, let's talk about Rottweiler.
No idea. I think it's a misdirect, the football thing. They're too good to be an athlete.
Friday Night Lights.
Right.
He's
That's
a
high school football.
Yeah.
It said it's also had a fantasy champion. I think it could be someone connected to the TV show or the movie.
Right.
Maybe.
Billy Bob
Taylor
Thornton.
Kitsch.
I mean, there's so
I
many
would love that.
He's got time.
He does.
Oh, remember that year where they were trying to make him really famous?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
he's very talented.
Yeah,
He
around.
made all the right career
Yes.
choices.
He did,
It's
he
just that
did.
They all
bombed.
not in his control turned out to be
And
not.
now he's Rottweiler.
And now he's Rottweiler. Some people think it's Bow Wow. Rottweiler. I think he's a singer.
He sings really
He's
Yeah.
a professional.
Can Michael B. Jordan sing?
He's professionally trained.
He's a trained singer.
I think he's a male model.
I don't know. That's a good question because of the Friday Night Lights.
Yeah.
But he's too short, I think.
Yeah. How tall's Landry? What's his name? You know.
Oh, Jesse Plemons.
Jesse Plemons?
Oh,
Can Jesse Plemons
Not like
sing?
that.
Not like that.
Oh, and plus Jesse Plemons, he put on a lot of. I feel kind of bad. I don't know. Maybe he just liked the way he looked, but he put on a lot of weight for a
Fargo.
role, and then
Fargo,
he never took
yeah.
it off.
It was for Fargo.
So I think he's not quite as slender as he was in the Friday Night Lights.
But he's also wearing that shirt that's so deceptive because it's like Rottweiler wears like the chest shirt. So I don't know if he's trying to be like, this is what I look like, or if it's more of a fantasy for him where he's like, I would like to look like this.
Who was it last year? Oh, Joey Fatone.
Joey
The
Fatone.
people said it wasn't him in the costume because he wasn't.
But he
girthy
did
enough.
when he took his mask off. He notably did gain weight. It was weird.
Hashtag conspiracy theory.
He did. Go back the tape.
This would be
that
a very
happened.
easy show to fake because you could put anyone out
You could put
there.
anybody out there. Yeah, you could have like your assistant out there.
Yeah. True.
Like show up just for the unmasking. Can we talk a little bit about that? Is definitely a boy band though. Like that is the voice of someone who suffered under a very intense manager in the hot Florida sun for like 3 years and then went on world tours. Like that is a boy band voice.
Okay.
That is the voice of that is a trained boy band voice.
All right.
In my opinion.
Well, it's probably not a Carter.
Good voice.
It's not a Carter.
Okay.
I want it to be Donnie Wahlberg just messing with her. So bad.
Didn't they break up?
No, they're married.
Are they married? I thought they broke up. I thought love was over.
She's got Wahlburgers for life.
Yeah, she does.
I really do want it to be him. I don't think it is.
Yeah.
But so badly, I want the entire season to pass and she doesn't recognize her own husband. But guesses
she married to?
everyone else correctly.
Oh, Jenny McCarthy.
Jenny McCarthy.
Okay, got it.
I know
Yeah.
she's now. I don't know if she was last season, but she's now Jenny McCarthy Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Got it.
Was she last season? Did I miss
I
that?
don't remember.
No, I think they made like a thing of it, like reintroducing her.
There you go.
Yeah, Nick Cannon, single tier.
As I mentioned, I don't watch anything having to do with the judges because they are useless until they bring on now that I will start watching when they bring on like Joel McHale or Triumph.
Yeah.
The people that understand how stupid this show is and are just there to screw around. I will watch them because they're actually funny. They're what all the other judges should be because they understand that this is insane.
Yes.
They're not judging anything.
What should we call them instead of judges?
Model
Guessers.
Model
Commentary?
spotters?
Yeah.
Guessers.
All right.
Slightly more famous audience members.
Yes.
Except for Ken Jeong, who's a saint.
Yeah. Audience plus.
Audience Plus. I like that. Audience Plus branding. I'm going to talk to you about my reel in a little bit, Spencer.
Don't put this on it.
How many viewers are left, Ryan?
Like
Let's see if we
15?
can guess.
We've actually increased by 9 viewers.
Nine viewers?
yeah.
Joined us?
We're at plus 9.
Yeah.
It's the four
So-
four judges.
Yeah. The every time I do this show, every time I do SJU,
Down, sorry.
there's
Wait.
there's a small part of me that's like, I think maybe I'm ruining my career longevity with every hour that I'm on the internet. And I think maybe that's true. And that's okay. That's a sacrifice that I'm willing to make because I love you guys so much. Danielle, bring us out with words of wisdom.
Keanu Reeves.
Very good. Thank
right.
you. Yes. All right, bye. That was it.
It
That
was
was
a
the
model,
show.
right?
It was a model. He is